My name is Nicholas Peart. I'm a resident of Harlem. I am a youth worker at the Brotherhood Sister Soul. In 2011, I wrote an op-ed article in the New York Times called "Why is the NYPD After Me?" To celebrate my 18th birthday, way of 96th Street and Broadway. I remember me, my cousin, and one of my friends. We were just enjoying the night when suddenly, out of nowhere, a squad of cars pull up to us. They pulled up pretty aggressive. They hopped out their cars and they came out with their guns drawn the minute that we get on the ground. I was shocked. I was scared. I was very embarrassed. I couldn't piece together why something like this was happening to me. The officer patted us down. They took our IDs. One of the officers noticed that it was my birthday and wished me a happy birthday. It was just a very dramatic experience for me. Couldn't understand why something like this was happening at 18. The only thing that I could come up with was that I didn't belong in that neighborhood. When young men of color experience being stopped and frisked at such a young age, it becomes a form of social conditioning for them. Young men of color have to wonder, walking down a block, what is this cop thinking? A young man shouldn't have to face the increased possibility of being stopped and frisked because he's walking outside late at night, or having to be stopped 5 to 6 times before the age of 18. That does a lot. That's like coming up to a young man and saying, "Hey, I think you're a criminal. I think you're a criminal. I think you're a criminal." This young person knows that he's not a criminal. I knew that I wasn't a criminal. But if 5 to 10 officers suspect something, they criminalizing you, what does that do to a young person's mindset on a police officer? On the NYPD, it is very much overlooked. It is not spoken about in the media, the psychological effects of criminalizing young men. I felt very much alienated. Young men shouldn't have to feel like that. We shouldn't have to feel that we are a threat. It's about to be 3 years since my mom passed away, and I became the guardian of my siblings overnight. Barry's 14 now, and Jalen is 12. When they see me doing the work that I'm doing, I think they appreciate it, but they don't fully understand it. They haven't yet experienced it firsthand. It actually gives me chills to think that, I will have to prepare them, but hopefully my advocacy on this issue has brought enough awareness, and I constantly speak to them about it. They definitely get excited, to see me doing this work and, how everything has come along, because they've been there from, each step of the way.
We're also joined by Nicholas Peart, who recently wrote a piece in the New York Times detailing his multiple experiences being stopped and frisked.
What this has done, for it to be acknowledged in federal court, we all know that this is an issue that happens in Black and brown communities. Just not knowing, what was happening and being cut for the first time.
Talk to me about what that feels like, though, in a real sense, to be constantly targeted by the stop and frisk policy.
Well, to be constantly targeted is very disheartening.
How many times?
Between 5 and 10 times since I was 16.
The piece is called "Why is the NYPD After Me?"
I was stunned and I was scared. There I was on the ground with a gun pointed at me. I couldn't see what was happening, but I could feel a policeman's hand reach into my pocket and remove my wallet.
Well, that's a reality that we have.
The mayor and the police chief both argue that stop and frisk is an essential part of them doing their job of keeping New Yorkers safe.
It's not just minor inconveniences. These stops are very hostile. It's very, damaging to the community.
myself how far astray we've gone. Nicholas is an example of how bright New York City's future could be. But it's not possible that he and other young men like him are not treated with the respect and the embrace and the faith that they deserve to feel that they're going to be our leaders of tomorrow. I appreciate Nicholas for his strength, for his courage, for his powerful voice. And I think because he stood up, it helped create that day when all of our young men of color, all of our young men, all of our young women know that this city is for them, and we look forward to the day when they are the leaders of tomorrow. Nicholas.
I have a moral obligation to exhaust every option to bring change. The Brotherhood Sister Soul taught me the importance of social responsibility and being an advocate for my community. Everyone should care. You know, this is our city. This is New York City. It's not just about black men, it's about the LGBT community as well, and the Muslim community, and every other community that is criminalized or have their civil rights compromised. And the threat to one particular group, civil rights, is a threat to us all. If we want to have a very productive and healthy city, I think the civil rights of every New Yorker should be respected. What has inspired me the most is the resilience of the folks that I've worked with, folks who have been working on this issue for years and decades, and this has been a long fight. We're still not done, you know, but I've been inspired and empowered to know that my voice counts. Everyone else's voice counts. I would say don't ever be afraid to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to be a voice. Don't be afraid to allow yourself to develop and grow. I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. I find strength, I find inspiration from them, and it's been very empowering. Very empowering.